Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to establish a mineral site for deer. Now there's a lot of different companies out there that make minerals particularly for deer, but basically what they're doing is just adding minerals and salts in their own concoction and putting a big buck on the front of their bag and saying it's the best mineral out there. Well, there's a lot cheaper and more effective ways to make a mineral and you'll get a lot more for your money. Now what I've done, I've gone to my local feed shop and purchase a 50-pound bag of range mineral. Now, when you're buying a mineral, what you want to look for is the ingredients on the bag to tell you what's in it. Well, you want the highest dicalcium phosphate percentage that you can find. Now, this particular mineral here is about 39% calcium, and it's got 6% phosphorus in it. And you want a high phosphate count. So this is a pretty good one. Most minerals, they run between 3 to 4% phosphorus. So this is a pretty good mineral. And I've also picked up a 50-pound bag of trace mineral salt. And this is basically just pure salt, but the deer love it. And basically, you mix these two together and you have 100 pounds of minerals. For about, I have about $30 in this. So get 100 pounds of minerals for $30, or you can go buy a name brand deer mineral and spend the same amount for 25 pounds. So it's definitely a lot better deal for your money. And I also use this deer cane Black Magic. And this is basically just pure salt. There's a lot of calcium in it too, but this just has a real sweet smell. And I just use this to top off my minerals, just to give it the smell, to attract the deer to find your mineral site. Then once they find it, they're going to be hitting it regularly. So you only need to put, I put probably about a third of this bottle on just to get the deer to find the mineral site. Then once they find it, they're going to be hitting it regularly. So pretty much just use this to freshen up your mineral sites or activate them maybe once every few months. You don't really need it once you establish a mineral site. So basically, I'm going to show you here what I do and how I prep my site. What you want to do, bring a rake with you. Find a nice area that's close to deer trails. Right here where I'm setting this site up, there's a nice valley behind me with a creek that runs through the bottom of it. So you want a water source pretty close in the area. I've got a creek about 40 yards away. And there's heavy deer trails all along this valley, and they come up along into this thicket over here. So it's definitely a high traffic deer area. So I figure this is about as good of a spot as possible for a mineral site. And at the moment, there's been no feeding or anything going on here. So I'm going to run a trail camera on this site and see what kind of action this mineral site brings. So let's go ahead and prep this site and get our minerals put out. What I like to do is prep a spot about 5-6 feet around. I'm going to take off all the surface off of the soil, all of the leaves, sticks, anything in the way. And you're going to want to scrape the soil up really good, maybe 3-4 inches deep. Just turn the soil over real good before you lay any of your minerals down. Now once you got your site prepped, what I usually do first is put down a nice coating of salt. You can also use a bucket, you know, an 8-gallon bucket, to mix the minerals and salts together to give you a nice even spread. But I usually just take a rake and rake it all together, mix it myself. Now this is trace mineral salt here. Put about half the bag down. Then my range mineral. Now I'm going to rake this all in and try to get it mixed in with the soil as good as possible. One thing you want to think about too is maybe doing this, trying to plan to do this right a day before a good rainstorm, so you have all that rain to wash your minerals down into the soil, because that'll really establish it. If you get your minerals and salts mixed in with your soil, the deer will come back and just dig at that site forever, really, for a year probably, before you even have to add any more minerals. So just try to get it worked in the soil as best possible. If you're near a freshwater source, like I have this creek down here, you can always bring a bucket with you, get a bucket of water from the creek, just water it down and get those minerals just absorbed into the water. Alright, once you got that mixed in, you can go ahead and finish off your bags. And again, you don't necessarily have to put 100 pounds of this down. As you can see, this is about 50 pounds I've put out so far, and this would definitely work. This is definitely going to attract the deer and having them come back for a long time, but I don't really feel like putting half bags of salt in my garage, so I'm going to go ahead and put it all out right now. Alright, then mix that in one more time. Alright, now minerals and salts are all done. I'm just going to use this Deer Cane Black Magic. Probably only going to put about 1/3 of this bottle out here. Just spread it out over my minerals, just to give the aroma to attract the deer. This stuff's very sweet smelling, so it doesn't take much. Alright, that's done, and now your mineral site is complete. So basically, I'm just going to set a trail camera up on one of these trees here to record and see what kind of deer activity I have. And I'll probably come and I'll check trail camera here in a couple weeks. Maybe now the deer season's over, it's spring, I have no reason to come back here. I might let it set for a month and just come back and see what my mineral site looks like. Maybe bring some more deer cane to liven it up and freshen the site if the deer haven't found it yet, which I'm sure they will. It's pretty strong smelling right now, so I shouldn't have a problem. But yeah, I'm gonna set a trail camera up and get out of here before the deer start coming.